Hello, this is Marek Sadowski. This is Lab3 solution video. In this video, we will add IBM API Connect. First, we will add API to IBM API Connect application. In the second step, we will connect our application with IBM API Connect, and we will consume exposed APIs. So now let's add API Connect. So let's give it a meaningful name, lab3 for example. Let's create the service. After the service is being provisioned, we are going to do wire framing all the parts that are needed. So first step is to create a new API. So it's a Hacker News. Now we can look for the parameters, and when we are done we can just create API. When our product is ready, we can start with the filling out the details of our API. So we can leave almost all elements of the API default settings as they are. However, we would need to add a couple things here. So let's start and let's add tags. So Hacker News. And as soon as you save, it takes some time for the round trip, for the refresh of the entire API. So we have seen a small information box appearing, so now it's everything saved. We can add the definition of the resources that are going to be taken, and for that we are going to add a new definition, Hacker News definition 1, and for that we are going to use edit field in which we are going to generate the details from our sample file. So it's one of the elements that from the response from the service. We have we are receiving an array of the objects, and that's one of the objects copied over as following our instructions in a document. So our API is saved. Now we can add the host address, default address, or catalog host, and this parameter would come from the assemble phase of the process. So now we can click. There is one part which is path. So we are going to call it update. So this is the process or the action that we are going to do on our process. So following the naming convention from the file. As soon as it's done, we can go to assemble. We'll see the box. We click on the box, and now we can give it a title. So Kitura Hacker News Update. So the method is going to be get. We are not going to change cache type. We'll leave everything as default. So we can generate the product. So it's going to be a Hacker News update. And we are going to publish it to Sandbox. We can run the test. So we have a product. The thing missing is URL. So let's copy over the URL from a Hacker News Analyzer, and let's add the parameter. So it's update question mark v0 top stories.json, and after saving, now we can run the test. So a little arrow on the top menu over here, just below assembly or source. So let's do it once more. So we can get the update, we can republish the product. And now we can invoke the method. So as we can see, the method ran correctly. So now we can start to work on the next step. So we go to dashboard, we go to our sandbox, we can review our Hacker News update product. And we have API over here and plans. We have just one plan. And we can review various elements and options that we have with the product. So as you can see, you can retire the API or provide the new one. So now we can see the default plan, and we can change requests that can be made with a number of requests that can be made with our API. So let's say it's a free trial for 10, a couple days, and rate limits that we can have for example, for 1 hour are given, and we can assign the price for the service per month with the given limits. So so that's one of the things that helps us to monetize on our API in the future. So with this, we are ready to upgrade our application from directly connecting to our API like now. That is set to connect to Kitura. Now we are going to connect to API Connect instead. So let's add a required foundation library, And let's move to the function get news articles, and let's adjust it for API connect. So we need to comment this part, and we will add over here a small section. So let's also comment these lines. So this is the box or section that we copied from the lab, and we need to specify IBM client ID, which is in the sandbox when we explore the sandbox. A little search, and then we can just open definition for the Hacker News. And it will give or it will show us the client ID. So we can now replace the default we got, and also we have over here the direct link to API Connect portal. So it also works. So we can just replace this part. So we are going to pass in the header the API Connect client ID, and the other part it's just the link that we are going to use in order to connect to our service. And small comments to adjust to the needs of the API calls to the API Connect instead of direct Kitura connection. All right, and when we call the service, it works as previously, and we can see the results over here. So on the side of the program, not too many things change. So that shows how you can consume API Connect from the mobile application and from iOS written in Swift. So coming back over here now, you can go back to the dashboard. And we can launch the portal, the developer portal. And over here we can check our Hacker News update product. And we see the price and the amount of the calls that we can make for with the product. And then we have the details, how to call it, various languages that can be used, and definition and the example of the response. Also, API Connect provides us with the analytics part, that we can watch the amount of the calls made for the API, and we can analyze how our APIs are being consumed. So that's great help for us.